everyone, welcome back to Charlotte's Book Nook. In this video, I'll be giving you 23 middle grade book recommendations that I have read myself and absolutely love. But before we get started, a few really important things that will help me out. Please hit the big red subscribe button down below. That encourages me to make videos and just helps them get better quality. And yeah, also make sure to like this video so I can make more of them for you guys and of course all my other videos. And share this with your friends so that we can grow our big family here at Charlotte's Book Nook. Alright, enough of that, let's get right on into the 23 book recommendations. Okay, so let's start off with the first recommendation. My first recommendation is the Secret of the Manor series. Here they are right here, and I absolutely love this book series so much. I recommend this one for girls, and it's so amazing. It has 8 books in it, and they're a really good size, probably about, let's take a look, 100.5 pages, I'd say 150 pages. And they are a quick read, they're a fun read, they're so well written, they have great stories, and I love all the girls that are in them. They're so fun, how they connect, like the spines, and how the mystery continues between everything going on. Yeah, I would say they're a mystery series, but honestly, me reading that for the first time didn't realize they were a mystery series because I couldn't really even figure out what they were because they were so good, but I didn't really know if they're a mystery, but I think they are. So these are about different girls at different time periods, but they all relate to one mystery that you will figure out by book 6, and then it switches over to The Secrets of the Manor being in France, and I honestly like these two better, and you will follow 2 separate girls and their mystery, and they are absolutely amazing. I would recommend this for 8+, I'd say. I still, if I'm bored or in a reading slump, will just grab one of these, read it in one sitting, just 150 pages, and it's just super fun, and I'll never stop recommending these for girls who like fantasy, mystery, and they're not really princesses, but they give princess vibes, and you get to like see their routine and everything, which I thought was so cool when I read these when I was about 11 or 12, and yeah, so recommend them for all ages, and that's the Secrets of the Manor series. The next series recommendation is the Nancy Drew Mysteries, and I do have a box set of 5 of them over there. There are so many of these books, and they are absolutely amazing. Nancy in the books is about 20, I think, which seems super old for middle grade recommendations, but I read these when I was little. There was a little bit of fear, like one of them she was kidnapped and like tied to a chair, but there's never death of like the main characters in like a violent or gruesome way that at least I've read through the first 10, I'd say, and that never happened. And they're just, like they sound, they're Nancy Drew mysteries, mysteries about Nancy Drew, and really well written, really fun. These would be probably under a classics sort of thing, but they are really easy to follow for a classic, and I love the quality and like the print, how they're printed. They're kind of printed in like bold, I don't know, it's really cool, and I absolutely love reading those, so I recommend them for mystery lovers, and I would say 9 or 10+ for that, and yeah, I would even say those could be a good YA book series as well. My next recommendation is the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series. They are right here, and this is a book series about a boy named Percy Jackson, and it's a Greek mythology kind of intertwined, and that's pretty much Greek mythology, Percy Jackson. They're really good. I think the thing that stood out to me the most in this book series was the humor. All the characters are so funny, and it just like lightens up the mood. 9+ for these. I don't know why 9 is so different from 8 in my opinion. But my next recommendation is a single book, and it is called Snow and Rose. Maya Venice has talked about this one a lot. She is this YouTuber right here, and I love her channel so much. She's awesome. And she recommended this book. I read it all in one day, and for a normal book talker, that would just be booktuber, that would just be like normal, but for me it takes me a week to like 2 weeks to read a book, and I didn't. I read it all in one day in 2 sittings in that day because it was so good, and it gave the best fall vibe a book has ever given. And it's just about these sisters, and it's kind of fairy tale-esque, but it's not like a fairy tale retelling, it's like their own fairy tale. And there was some things had added up, and the plot twist in the end was so cool, but it mostly just gave these cozy, warm vibes describing their life living in the woods and their friend, and it was just so good. I will never stop recommending this book. I'm so glad that I read it, and you need to today, especially for the season that we're in, fall and winter. It works. It's so good. My next book recommendation is the Charlie Thorne book. Now, I know this is a trilogy, but I have not read all of them, and I shouldn't be recommending something without reading all of them, but this book, I will never stop recommending. Now, it seems like I'm saying that a lot, but I've only said that about 2 or 3 of the books on this so far, and that's why I'm recommending them, is because I'll never stop. Charlie Thorne and the Last Equation. Oh my gosh, I brought this on vacation, and we're all sitting in this like cramped apartment, like trying to escape the heat before we go back out and do like all of our vacation stuff outside, and I just zoned out and read this whole like fight scene in this book for like an hour, and I did not know my surroundings. When I came out of the trance, I was like, oh wow, I don't, this book isn't the only thing going on right now. I had a huge CIA FBI spy stage, and this satisfied all of that love. It is amazing. It is so good. I think Charlie in the book is 12, so I'm gonna go with recommending this for, I would say, 10 or 11 plus, which sounds really old because it's a book that's probably like for the 8 through 12 year old middle grade, but there's some violence, there's a few little things, but I mean, it's a kid's book, so it's not like YA, but it is incredible. I will never stop loving Stuart Gibbs's books and this book. So I have the other two on hold right now. I'm going to read them, but yeah, Charlie Thorne and the Last Equation. My next recommendation is the Spy School series, and they're actually below me, but I'm lending a bunch of them to my friend right now who's reading them and loves it. And I love this series so much. I will never stop recommending this one because it's I read it around the same time as Charlie Thorne. It's just giving the spy vibes. And Ben and Erica, also, it's so good. So it's about this boy, and he wants to become a spy, and ta-da, he goes to spy school and becomes a spy, which sounds kind of stereotypical, but it's not. The missions they go on are so fun. The characters, they work so well, and everything going on, it has a little bit of everything in that book. So if you're not a big spy fan, I would still try reading it because it's so fun. But if you are a spy fan, it will satisfy all of that spy love. So I love the Spy School series. Go read it. My next recommendation is Keeper of the Lost Cities, and I know I talk about that so much on this channel. I got edits, I got videos. If you guys are like, what, I don't know what this is, then you need to learn about this series. This is Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. I don't have them because they're like this thick and they're expensive because of that, so they're on my Christmas list. But the Keeper of the Lost Cities series follows a girl named Sophie Foster who learns that she is not a human, she's actually an elf, but not like your like pointy ear Santa's helpers elf. It's a whole nother thing. She goes to this world. There's so much. There's a little bit of everything in that series that honestly, I would recommend it for YA as the books go on. So I would say 10 plus. Yeah, there never gets too much, but I mean, there is like, I don't want to spoil anything. It's amazing. I love it. The storylines are so good. And she has the most well-written characters I've ever read. After reading about the character Keith, there's no other characters that live up to Keith's greatness. So Keeper of the Lost Cities is on my top 3 favorite series ever. And yeah, if you're watching this, if you know someone who mostly reads YA books, I would still read this because it will satisfy those needs as the books go on. I will tell you, she's like 12 in the first one, but by the last one, she's like 17 or something. So I gotcha. Next recommendation, it doesn't have a name, the series, for some reason, but the first one was called Tuesdays at the Castle. I read these when I was about 10 and I loved them, so I would say 8 plus. They're super cool. They're what I'd say as middle grade high fantasy, because they're like high fantasy, but it's so good. It's about a girl, she lives in this castle, and the rooms are always like changing, and then something happens to her parents, I'm not gonna say, and she has to do something, and it's a whole adventure of her and her siblings, and they go to these different places, and there's excitement, there's a bit of violence, but nothing like gory, just like fights and stuff, and I love that series. I actually read it like multiple times because it was so good. That one could be for boys and girls, honestly, because of the themes in it, and it's super cool if you love like found family and middle grade high fantasy. So yeah, I really recommend that one. This one is for a really little kid, so if you're watching this and want to get some ideas for your sibling, I recommend the Silver Pony Ranch duology. I can't find the first one. This is the second one. They're literally like 50 pages or something. Let me see. Okay, 87 pages, but like they look like this, for example, so very little. Right when you learn to read, I would recommend reading this. I think the characters are like 7 or 8, but I know it's gonna be funny, but I just keep them and read them when I want to feel like a little kid again, and I want some innocence, and it's so good. They're so cute. It's horses, it's little kids visiting their grandma, but they're really cute, they're really fun, and if you're looking for something for your little sibling, I would definitely recommend that. So as soon as you can read those. It's literally just a girl and a horse. My next recommendation, I'm so excited for this one, the Greystone Secrets. And I only have the first 2. If you watch my review on the first one, you'll understand why I only thought there were 2, even though on the back of the second one, we see the third one. We're not gonna talk about that. So this series is in my top 3 favorite series ever, or trilogies. And it's sci-fi, high fantasy, mystery, adventure. It's given everything. There was one cringy thing that happened at the end. I'm not gonna say. It involves Natalie and chess. We're not gonna talk about that. But other than that, one of the greatest series ever. something happens to the character's mom. They try to find her. They solve these riddles, puzzles, but the characters are so well written. And I'm not gonna get into this because I have a whole video on this. So if you're like, ooh, that sounds fun, go watch my video review on it and you will find out what the series is about. These, I would say, 8 or 9 plus. There is kidnapping, being held hostage, some little frightening scenes. When I read these when I was little, for some reason I was like so freaked out that I couldn't leave my bed because I was like scared. They're really not that scary now, but it depends like what you're scared of, but they say 8 through 12, so. My next recommendation are any books by the author Holly Webb. She writes all these animal books. They're so fun. I have a collection of like 3 of them, and I got this from the summer reading program because like there was nothing good, and I was like, we're just gonna have some nostalgia. These are kind of like the Silver Pony Branch, but a little bit harder. This is kind of what it looks like. So I would say as soon as you can read 7 plus. I don't know when kids learn to read, but yeah, that series is super fun. They're not really a series, it's just a kid finds an animal and he or she takes care of the animal. He or she has school drama. It just kind of helps you work through whatever's going on, and I love those books so much. They're just fun and cute, and if you love animals, you'll definitely like them. My next recommendation is the book Music of the Dolphins. Music of Dolphins. I don't know how I got the title wrong. I have read this book at least 10, 20 times because it is incredible. So this girl was stranded. She lives with dolphins. She's not human at this point because of like she's been living with dolphins. And this book is her journey of learning to become human, and it's written in her mind. So her literally thinking she's a dolphin and then learning how to become a person. The journey is just so good. So it starts off with this super big, bold wording because she's like learning to actually think. And then it gets smaller and smaller print until we get to the end when the print starts to get bigger because something happens. And I love this book so much. It's a little like on the back it says a song of beauty and sorrow, haunting and unforgettable. That about sums it up. This might not be understood by super young kids, so I would say 9 or 10 plus is probably when I read this, and I'm still reading it again and again to this day. It has this part in the middle where she's like describing her life with the dolphins, and it is the most like beautiful poetic thing I've ever read in a book. And this book is so amazing. I will never stop. Any age can read that. It's just mind blowing and it's so cool. Okay, my next book recommendation is the Penderwicks book series, and this book series, this is it right here, will never cease to amaze me. It's a story of sisters. I'm not gonna say how many because that's a spoiler right there. And it's their adventures. I will say that the first 3 or 4 were my absolute favorite when it followed these certain sisters. And then there's this like 10-year gap between this book and the next book, and there's new characters, we're just gonna say. And everyone's old, and some of the characters like graduated. It was a little hard, I would say. But I will never stop recommending the books. The first few are amazing. It's just about their adventures. They're just living a normal life, but like their holidays and their adventures and their vacations and stuff. They're just so good. The author has such a way with words, and she writes amazing characters, and it's got a little bit of everything in it. And yeah, Penderwicks, amazing. Along the same lines, we have the Vanderbeekers, which is giving the same vibes as the Penderwicks. It also gives fall vibes and winter vibes and spring vibes and summer vibes, depending on which book you read. That one has a boy in the family though, so I would say you could still read the Penderwicks if you're a boy because there's a main boy character, but like the Vanderbeekers actually has a brother, just in case you're wondering. And it's an amazing series. It pretty much follows the same thing, just follows this big family's life and the things that happen. The first one, they're trying to save their house. The second one, they're building a garden, and so on. But they're really fun, really good writing. There's some drama, there's some things happening, and it's just a really good series that I will always read. I'm actually rereading it right now because of how much I love it. My younger brother loves it, and I just realized I've been forgetting to give age ratings. Penderwicks and Vanderbeekers. I have no, actually, the Penderwicks, because they get older, it kind of goes into some older things, but like it's a kid's series, so nothing inappropriate. The Vanderbeekers, I would say, whenever you can start reading, you can read them, although they're a little big for that, so. Great read aloud for both of those series. I know some homeschool moms like to read those out loud because I'm homeschooled. When my mom's watching homeschool videos, she's like, I always talk about this book series called The Penderwicks. I'm like, they should be. My next recommendation would be the Boxcar Children, and I'm sure you've heard of this, but this was popular in my childhood. Me and my friends would go to the library and we just be like, haven't read that one, haven't read that one, haven't read that one, and just carry home this big stack of Boxcar Children books and then do that the next week at the library because they're just so easy and fun to read. Along the same lines as the Vanderbeekers and Penderwicks, it's about a big family and just all the things that happen to them, except they're mysteries, so each one they're trying to solve something. Some of them hint at like there's a ghost, there's a death, there's this, but in the end it's never spirits and ghosts and deaths and stuff. They always find a logical explanation. So super good, super fun, and all ages. Those are pretty simple and small, so whenever you can start reading, I'd recommend those for sure. So now we're going to be going into the classics, and these are classics that I'd recommend for middle grade. Okay, so the book Heidi, super fun one. I've read that lots of times, watched the movie lots of times. Super fun. I'm sure you know the plot. It's about this girl who goes and lives with her grandpa who lives in the mountains, and their relationship and everything going on between them, and super fun. It's got animals, it's got characters, it just gives you an idea of what life was like in the past, and I just love that aspect of it. Then we have A Little Princess. This one I would recommend maybe for a little bit older, because the first time you're like, oh, I love this, and then something super tragic happens and it just makes you go downhill, and it made me want to cry. So yeah, but of course it's got a good ending. It's super fun. It's about a girl, and she's spoiled, but she has an amazing life, and then something super tragic happens and she loses everything, and then it's about her growth and everything happening to her and how she stays a good person. And yeah, a really good book. Really insightful, and a really good classic. Then we have The Secret Garden, and The Secret Garden is actually my favorite book of all time. So if you're like, whoa, you like a classic as your favorite book? Yes, I do. It's about this girl, and she's orphaned. It's by the same author as A Little Princess, and she goes and lives with her uncle, who she's never met. He doesn't talk to her, and there's a garden, and she learns to explore it and help it grow. And it's just an amazing story. It makes my heart so happy just to think about it. I don't know, the writing style, I listened to it on YouTube with a guy with like a Yorkshire accent, and it's like this music playing in the background. I think that made it a lot better for me, so look that up. And yeah, it's just such a good book. I'll never stop recommending that one. Anne of Green Gables series. This one you can start at any age reading, but you do grow with her, so it does get into her getting married, and it gets into her upper teen years, and then getting married, her kids and everything. So it just follows this amazing, outgoing, fun girl's life, and yeah, it's super fun. The movies are really good too, and I will never stop recommending that for all ages. And I feel like it should be like required reading, because it's just that good. It's super fun. Another really good one is called What Katie Did. I think I actually have that one. I do. This is What Katie Did, and it's a very pretty edition that I have. And on the back it says, 12-year-old Katie Carr is forever dreaming of the important things that she will do one day. But then an awful accident happens, and her hopes for the future seem more and more out of reach. Can Katie hang on to her enthusiasm and spirit when everything seems to be against her? So it's kind of like what happens in A Little Princess, and it's a classic. It's so fun. Oh, I read this such a long time ago, and looking at it makes me want to read it, because it's so good. It's such a pretty cover, and really fun and insightful, and like I said, it's kind of like A Little Princess. And then my last recommendation is kind of a classic, and it is the Little House on the Prairie series. Also, don't watch the show. It's literally nothing related to the book. So this was actually written by the main character, so it's basically about her life, and she adds in things and makes it more of a story, but kind of like some of the series I've talked about, where you grow up with her and move to these different places, and it just gives me those like outdoor, some of them in the woods, some of them in like the prairie, some of them in like at one part she lived in this like house that was built into the ground. I don't remember what it's called, but it's so cool. I love those. And I'd say for that age you could really start at any point. You do grow up with her, but 8+, it's amazing. Okay everyone, thank you so much for watching. I know this was a long video, but I hope you love these recommendations. I try to do ones that people don't talk about very often, and then throw in a few that people have talked about, so you guys know that I like them. So like I said at the beginning, please hit the subscribe button, comment down below, share, and like this video. Let me know if you like this and I should make more recommendations for you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing rest of your day. Bye!